Our case group study project was on Uber, and it's presented by Megan Hess, Vanessa Atwood, Jonathan Liu, and Edward Vallejo. The central issue: rider discomfort with drivers due to lenient hiring process and crime committed in the name of Uber. A couple examples include cases like Samantha Josephson, who was 21 years old, originally from South Carolina. She got into a vehicle posing to be her Uber in March of 2019. Her body was later found the following day after being stabbed to death. Another example includes a Jane Doe in her 20s from Seattle, Washington. She got into a vehicle with a man pretending to be her Uber driver in December of 2018. The man locked all of the doors, hopped into the back seat, and proceeded to rape her. Another example includes Elizabeth Suarez. She was 28 years old, she was from Nevada, and got into a vehicle posing to be her Uber driver in April of 2019. The driver took her to a deserted parking lot and forced her to hand over all of her belongings, including her wallet and cell phone. In an attempt to save her own life, she jumped out of the moving vehicle and suffered several injuries. Linked to organizational mission. Uber's mission statement is, "We ignite opportunity by setting the world in motion." They should focus on igniting opportunity for drivers to earn money and passengers to ride safely, as opposed to igniting opportunity for crime to take place by people pretending to be Uber drivers. Internal analysis. A couple strengths include a well-organized, low overhead costs. Uber is a well-organized company that owes much of its success to the low overhead costs associated with operating their ride-for-hire technology software. In order to maintain healthy profit margins, Uber employs independent contractors who are responsible for their own vehicle expenses and scheduling. Tech savvy. Uber has designed their app in such a way that makes it easy to use for the generations that are a bit more tech savvy. This means that with a simple download, they can go ahead and register so that they can request a ride to their desired location. Brand recognition. Uber has become a brand known for being available at all times of the day, which has helped steer people from drinking and driving. The access to this app has made people think twice about driving drunk, and they have resorted to hiring a driver to safely take them back home. As a result, there has been a significant decrease in the amount of DUIs since Uber's launch. For example, Los Angeles's DUIs have decreased. Uber's name is also used as an adjective for getting a ride among people around the globe, even when they are actually referring to other ride share or personal transportation services. Industry leader with a global presence. Uber was the first company of its kind, and since its start, there have been other companies entering the market that have imitated Uber's business strategy. However, there is very little competition. Uber is currently the leader in the rideshare and private transportation market. Their presence escalated quickly and has seen continuous improvement over time. Uber also has a global presence which many competitors have failed to accomplish, strongly affecting their high industry ranking. Weaknesses. Without making the necessary changes to Uber's platform, hiring process, and pickup procedures, the company is at risk of losing a significant number of customers to existing and potential competition. Incidents. As new drivers register to drive for Uber, there is an increase in the amount of incidents and bad experiences reported from customers. People have also impersonated Uber drivers to commit heinous crimes, leaving customers with a bad taste regarding the overall safety of riding with Uber. Competition. The most dangerous competition currently threatening Uber is Lyft, a technology platform that offers the same ride-for-hire services as Uber. The increase in popularity among similar companies like Lyft often leads to price wars. This means that companies will start to charge lower prices for the same service in order to compete with rivals, which ends up leading to a lower profit margin for drivers and the company. Minimal brand loyalty. Since the service being offered is the same, customers that have a bad experience with Uber will immediately switch to Lyft, since they do not have a strong enough relationship with Uber to feel obligated to stay loyal to their company. Easily imitable technology. Additionally, Uber's easily imitable platform further ignites the need to modify their current operations immediately. Legal and political controversy. The amount of legal and political controversies act to disturb Uber's business and profits and increase its operational costs. These operational costs are then passed on to the drivers, which ends up decreasing their profit margins. Impact on society. Since its launch in the city of Los Angeles, Uber has actually helped drive down the amount of DUIs in the city. There has been at least a 50% decrease in DUI arrests since its launch in 2013 in Los Angeles. With its disruption to the taxi industry, Uber has become a target for many outraged taxi cab drivers. They believe that the introduction of Uber led to a decrease in their income because offering for-hire ride services was their livelihood. With many angry taxi cab drivers, Uber drivers have become a target which puts their safety at risk. Justin Burrow, an Uber driver, fears that he might become a possible target for these angry taxi cab drivers. A woman that drives for Uber recounts the story that made her fear for her safety. She discusses the situation with a man who was 6'7" that got in her car because he needed to get to his destination. Throughout the ride, he made various inappropriate remarks which started to make the Uber driver really uncomfortable. When he was preparing to exit the vehicle, he proceeded by harassing her and making her more uncomfortable. This is a situation that often happens to women during the late hours of the night. She firmly believes that she encounters bad experiences during the late hours of the night more often. Analysis of the external environment. Opportunities and expansion. Unlike taxicabs, Uber can expand beyond city limits to offer services to rural and suburban areas due to the high demand for rides from customers. The need for drivers increases concurrent with customer demand, opening additional job opportunities for individuals living in any environment. In addition to demand, Uber's technology functions on basic internet and wireless data available on one's phone. This opens an opportunity for expansion to developing countries as they begin to streamline mobile internet services and capabilities. Diversification. Uber can continue diversifying their services, such as Uber Eats, to continue their outreach to individuals in markets other than ride-sharing and private transportation. By doing so, they will broaden their customer bases and earn more revenue through additional technologically motivated luxury and convenience services. Broad target market. Uber is already able to serve the obvious market of adults and teenagers. However, they possess the ability to create specialty segments for vulnerable riders like elderly, children, and mentally ill individuals who need simple, quick, and convenient ride services. Threats. Bad publicity and a poor reputation. One of the main issues that Uber deals with is safety. Customers are becoming reluctant to solicit services from Uber because they feel that they might have a bad experience. News coverage on situations like Samantha Josephson, who was murdered for accidentally getting into the wrong vehicle, prevents people from feeling completely comfortable using the app. Not only do the customers feel worried, but also the drivers. The drivers have no idea who is going to be getting into their car and what their intentions are. This causes a feeling of uncomfortability amongst both the driver and the passenger. Competition. As Uber's reputation continually declines, opportunities become available for competition like Lyft to intercept the market by acquiring Uber's lost customers. Driver turnover. Many Uber drivers are led to believe that they will earn a far higher wage than what is actually attainable on a monthly basis. The disappointing pay for the time dedicated to driving for Uber leaves drivers dissatisfied with their jobs while staff are searching elsewhere for work that actually earns them a decent living. As our chart shows, the percentage of consumers with a negative perception of the world's most valuable startup jumped from 9 to 27% in response to the news stories. To make things worse, these stories have been the main reason for people to stop using Uber in the past 6 months. Financial analysis. Uber's valuation in 2018 was $72 billion. Net loss in 2018 was $1.8 billion after taxes, depreciation, and other expenses. Negative reputation has contributed to consumer change and loyalty to competitors such as Lyft. Statistics suggest roughly 3% of profits have been lost to bad publicity and related factors. Key rival Lyft brought in $1 billion in revenue in 2017 and $909 million over the first half of 2018, more than 100% up on H1 2017. Figures vary, but Uber's market share of the US ride-hailing market is estimated at between 69% and 74%. With improvements, we are optimistic Uber services will reach 75% of all consumers in this industry. Recommendations. The hiring process for prospective Uber drivers is quite lenient, simply requiring applicants to be at least 21 years old with a valid driver's license, a four-door vehicle, and a social security number for a brief background and driving record check. While drivers are generally satisfied with the limited hiring process and freedom involved with making their own schedules, riders have recently grown weary of the safety of Uber. In order to keep riders happy, Uber must implement significant improvements to their software, driver approval processes, and pickup procedures. Implement QR code scanners to the rider's mobile app. QR codes are similar to barcodes, but can be scanned with mobile devices to reveal information to both the driver and rider to verify that they are meeting the correct individual. This one-stop verification system is reliable and would be difficult for impersonators to replicate, drastically limiting the number of crimes that are committed. In turn, Uber's reputation would improve and revenues would recover. Comprehensive background checks for drivers, including driving records and criminal records. The hiring process for prospective Uber drivers is quite lenient, simply requiring the applicants to be at least 21 years old, have a valid driver's license, a four-door vehicle, and a social security number for a brief background and driving record check. While drivers are generally satisfied with the limited hiring process and freedom involved with making their own schedules, riders have recently grown weary of the safety of Uber. In order to keep riders happy, Uber must implement significant improvements to their software, driver approval processes, and pickup procedures. Driving tests for anybody that wants to become a driver to make sure they are skilled and familiar with their local driving laws. Offer individuals who have been driving with Uber for a long time the opportunity to earn extra money by becoming a driving test administrator. This will incentivize drivers to stay with the company for a long time, while also ensuring that drivers are capable of driving safely. Vehicle inspections to ensure the drivers are transporting people in safe and reliable vehicles. Prospective drivers must present a verified vehicle inspection report prior to becoming an approved driver. To ensure validity, Uber can provide their own inspection report sheet that must be completed and provided along with the mechanic's report. Insurance coverage verification and specified minimum requirements for all drivers. In order to avoid continuous regulatory backlash from governmental agencies, Uber should require drivers to carry a minimum insurance policy covering up to a defined limit. This will ensure that in the event of an accident, Uber is not held liable for damages to an individual's vehicle, themselves, or their passengers. A speed monitoring software integrated into the application for rider safety and peace of mind. Technological advances and revisions to the existing software can implement a speed monitoring system that records driver speeds to make sure they are not speeding while transporting riders. Riders will feel more secure in knowing that if the driver is speeding excessively during their ride, they will be reported. Too many incidences speeding can diminish a driver's reputation and can result in revocation of their driving permissions. More comprehensive rider and driver reviews where all drivers and riders have the ability to read comments on the person they will be traveling with. Right now, they're only able to view an average rating out of 5 stars. Offer reminders in the application to leave reviews for every driver. There is currently a rating system and an option to leave comments regarding the driver. Not many people utilize this extra option prior to the ride due to the feedback given usually after bad experiences. Other riders can read these comments while waiting for the driver to arrive to actually fully understand whose car they are entering. Establish standards required for each driver to greet riders when arriving for pickup. All drivers must attend a mandatory orientation to learn simple greeting techniques. They are then required to use what was learned. Riders get confused which vehicle is their Uber and can potentially enter the wrong vehicle. Window tint plays a factor in almost all areas, obscuring the rider's view of the driver's face. A simple greeting by rolling down the windows and addressing the rider by first name will alleviate any confusion. We believe Uber will benefit from having the most qualified fleet members in the ride-for-hire industry. We also believe that Uber will be able to regain business and rebuild trust with consumers by implementing the strategies recommended. Thank you for watching.